So next discuss brown algae, our class Phaeophytes. We have 2000 species of this brown alga present all over the earth. If we talk about the habitat, then they prefer to grow in cooler water and only in marine water. There is no form which is present on fresh water. Also, they can grow in tidal zone, in salty lakes, etc. This is the alga which is macroscopic in nature. Now, what do you mean by macroscopic? That unlike green alga, you can see them with your naked eyes. So, if we talk about the structure of this alga, they are multicellular, filamentous, branch form. For example, Ectocarpus. Now this Ectocarpus, here you can see in the picture that this is the form which has profusely branched, right. Let's talk about the next feature, which is cell wall. The cell wall is made up of cellulose, and this cellulose, it's covered with a hydrocolloidal. The cellulose is covered with a substance which is known as hydrocolloidal substance. So what do you mean by hydrocolloids? Hydrocolloids means that they can hold water. Since they are the part of the algae, so we also call them phycocolloids. Commercially, we use these substances, we extract these substances from the algae to make ice creams and jellies. So there are three kind of substances that can be present in the brown algae. One is fusin, alginic acid, and fucodin, right. So these are the substances which we can isolate from these alga. Now if we'll talk about the pigment, then chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C is abundantly found in this particular alga. Along with that, xanthophyll, and in xanthophyll you have fucoxanthin. And because of the presence of this fucoxanthin, the algae is in different shades of brown, right. If we'll talk about storage, then since they can synthesize their food by their own, so the food is stored in form of mannitol. I'm so sorry for that. The food has stored in the form of different derivatives of carbohydrate like mannitol and sorbitols. Right. So this is the storage which present in brown alga. Here you can see, this is the diagram. This diagram is of macrocystis. The macrocystis are also known as scalps. They are the highly branched and the largest brown algae. Next, we'll talk about the body of the brown alga. The body is divided basically in three parts: holdfast, stipe, and lamina. Let's start with the lamina. Lamina is also known as frond. This is the photosynthetic part of this particular alga. So since the pigments are present and lamina can synthesize its food by its own, so it's can easily be compared with the green leafy part of the plants, right. This lamella contains some air vesicle and these air vesicles are very important since they provide buoyancy to the alga, right. Next is stipe. So, if we will say this is the lamella part, so the lamella, the base of the lamella contains stipe. So, this is what? This is stipe. Now, the stipes contains, so the stipes contain trumpet hyphae, and this hyphae works similar as xylem. So, this hyphae works similar as xylem. So, since the xylem and phloem or the vascular bundle are absent in this particular alga, so trumpet hyphae will help to disseminate water from one place to another place, and the base of the brown alga is known as holdfast, which helps to hold the alga. Right. Next, the reproduction of this alga can be sexual or asexual mode. In sexual mode, asexual mode, it can be either fragmentation, where we know that the a part of the alga which break from the parent plant, and wherever it will fall, it will form a new alga, and there can be dissemination by spores. The sexual reproduction can be done by isogamy, anisogamy and oogamy. So, here we can see these are the spore which will be formed by this particular alga. So, here you can see that these spores are basically heterocon. Now, what do you mean by heterocon? That flagella are of two types, that they are not equal flagella, whereas they are unequal in nature, and also the flagella contains tinsels, and tinsels are what? Tinsels are this small cilia, or you can say small outgrowth on the flagella, whereas another flagella will not contain any outgrowths, right. Also, the spores are basically they are pear shaped. So, it is a pear shaped spore which contain two flagella, and the flagella are heterocont. In green alga, the flagella were homocont in nature. So, that means both the flagella were exactly similar. Also, here you can see that flagella arise from the lateral position. So, here flagella arise from the lateral parts, from this particular side, whereas in green alga they arise from the apical part or the tip. Next, moving on, let us talk about the economic importance of the brown algae. So, laminaria is very important food source, because here we extract iodine and bromine from the laminaria. Sargassum is also known as Sargassum is also known as sago sea, because it is found in North Atlantic Ocean. And it keep grow itself. Macrocystis and Nereocystis is a source of potash. We can easily extract potash from that. Alginic acid we extract from laminaria and macrocystis, and this alginic acid is again a phycocolloid which we use to form ice creams and jellies.